The richest man in the world, he's concerned about the risk of AI, continuing to sound an alarm saying artificial intelligence is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. Musk, one of the founders of OpenAI, ChatGPT's parent company, implemented artificial intelligence as an essential component in Tesla vehicles. He's always said that technology is exciting but dangerous. In a recent tweet, writing, quote, having a bit of AI existential angst today. For more on this, we're joined now by the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, Jamil Jaffer. Jamil, Elon Musk, he says it's very, very much a concern of his. Do you agree with him? Is AI more dangerous than nukes?
Well, look, I don't want to, disagree with the richest man in the world, but I will say this. I think that there's a lot more potential for massive innovation, massive opportunity, economic and personal intellectual growth that can come from artificial intelligence that outstrips, I think, the potential threat. There's no doubt there are very real threats. If we were to allow weapons to be used autonomously, for example, that could pose a significant threat and take out the human decision maker. There's no discussion of any real substance today going on that I'm aware of in the U.S. government about enabling autonomous capabilities exclusively for weapons. And so, I think there are potential threats. And yes, Nick Bostrom years ago wrote the book Superintelligence, where he argues that there's a possibility of creating general AI that could sort of surpass human intelligence. But let's be realistic, Adrienne, we're a long ways away from general AI.
It's true. But then there are so many concerns, like the sci-fi movies have shown us over the decades, that at some point, whether it looks like a robot or looks like a human, that the AI technology that is being developed could become or overtake the inventor, become smarter than the inventor. Do you think that potential could happen in our lifetime?
I think it's hard to know. We've seen so much innovation and change in just our short lifetimes that there's certainly a possibility that we could develop this capability of general artificial intelligence. That being said, I think we're a long ways from that. And the things that we've seen thus far, the rapid advances we've seen, for example, in ChatGPT and these generative AI capabilities that generate art and writing and the like, that feel very human-like, ultimately are the result of a series of human-created algorithms that interact to create this, to create this content. And so, while I think there's a possibility down the road that general AI is down the road, something we could do, I don't worry about it today, and not something that I'd be interested in, the government getting the business of regulating, because I'd be worried about the depressive effect that would have on our ability to innovate in this very exciting space.
Well, it's exciting, that's true, but Elon's saying that the government doesn't regulate artificial intelligence. Do you believe they need to?
I don't think that's the right answer today. I think what we need to do is develop a set of norms and practices, both in industry and governments working across, multiple nations to figure out, look, what are our values and concepts here, rather than saying, look, today the right thing to do is come in, put a government agency in charge of this. I mean, look, let's be honest. Government agencies are not the most innovative institutions, right? For all the tremendous innovation we've seen over the internet and in computers and in technology over the last 2 to 3 decades, Adrienne, that's all happened because the government has largely stayed out of the way, enabled innovation, and not regulated it. So I think that the downsides of regulation today are significantly worse in terms of innovation than the upsides of protecting against a general AI that doesn't exist today.
I have one more question for you. I have to get time for this. Even young people are overwhelmed with the advancements in technology, things ever changing, and having to stay on point with that. But most lawmakers, like most of our grandparents, are pretty technologically illiterate. They don't understand the science. I don't understand the science either, so this is not a criticism. But the fact is that people intending to make these decisions around national security, how can we bridge the intellectual or the educational gap between people who really don't have the know-how or the experience to know exactly how dangerous AI could be?
It's a great question, Adrienne. Actually, it's something that we're working on extensively at the National Security Institute. We're bringing together a group of technologists and industry folks and people in policy circles, people who've worked with the government before, to help educate lawmakers on these very issues. We work with institutions like the Hewlett Foundation and others to bring together these smart people who may have their own day jobs, but who are coming together under a policy umbrella to really talk to lawmakers about, look, what do technologists think about these issues? How do they think about AI? How do they think about cybersecurity? And look, that's another piece of this too, Adrienne, is in the scope of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity is really important, protecting those algorithms. That's something that industry can do and innovate around without the need for necessarily government imposition requirements at this time.
Jamil Jaffer, thank you so much for the conversation.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.